Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Stream Dark Souls Prepare to Die. So, I gave some wrong information, very slight wrong information, regarding where I would be picking back up. Instead of picking up at the Daughter of Chaos bonfire, I actually want to... Rude bird. I actually want to pick up right here because we want to drop off the last of the Smugly the Crow trades that we're going to be making for the playthrough. The first... Let me see... I believe we need to drop off... It's in the equipment section, I do believe. Yes, the sunlight maggot. We need to drop this.
You give me.
And you see, she gives us an old witch's ring. An old ring with no known use. Old ring from an old witch, engraved minutely with indecipherable script, but seemingly useless. Well, we know an old witch, or at least we killed an old witch, the Witch of Izalith, and her Daughters of Chaos. There's still one Daughter of Chaos left, technically two, if you count Quailana. That ring allows you to speak with the fair lady. Now let's see, there's a couple other trades I can make here. The Xanthus crown. If you drop this... we get another ring. The Ring of Favor and Protection. If you don't, or if you either don't want to kill Lautrec or somehow incapable of killing Lautrec, you can get this here. You can also use this to replace the Ring of Favor Protection you get from him if you somehow break it. And I do believe that is the last of the trades we need to make. Let me just double check and make sure. She doesn't accept spells. I don't think we have any weapons we can give her. I mean, technically we do, but I'm not about to give up my Pyro Flame. And then, let's see, that should be everything. Okay, yeah, so that's it for Snuggly. We will probably never be coming back here. There are some items you can give her that I will make mention of. First and foremost, like I just mentioned there. The first being a Pyromancy Flame. If you give Snuggly a regular Pyromancy Flame, she will trade you a red Titanite chunk. If you have ascended your Pyromancy Flame with Quailana, you can trade that to Snuggly to get a red Titanite slab. So I want to go to Firelink real quick, because we have some business there. Let's see, off-screen I went ahead and maxed out my Demon Titanite weapons. I also went ahead and bought a full stack of feather arrows. I don't think I'll run out of standard arrows before the playthrough's done, but just in case I do have feather arrows as a backup. But the reason we want to come here is we need to catch up with Sieglind, after saving Siegmeyer last time.
Well, hello again. I have finally located my father. All of your help was invaluable to us. Thank you so much. I was finally able to pass on my mother's last words.
I'm glad I could help. Where is Siegmeyer now?
My father? He went on his final adventure. Don't worry. That's just the way he is. Undead or no. Sort of reassuring, really. He goes hollow. I'll just have to kill him again.
Oh. Yeah, that's a very complicated relationship right there. Just kind of casually admitting to committing patricide.
My father? Don't worry.
Well, this is the final step of Siegmeyer's questline. From here, we need to go to the Stone Dragon bonfire all the way down in Ash Lake. Now, in order to conclude this questline, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of the area. So it's going to be a little bit of a run. I personally don't mind, because I think the view here is great. Easily the most breathtaking area in the entire game. Okay, you're just going to ignore me. I'm cool with that. Go ahead and equip frustration. There we go. Let's go ahead and update my emotes here. Alright. No getting past these without a fight. Free souls, basically. I don't need Twinkling Titanite anymore, so I'm cool with that. Now, this one I think will ignore us, so we're good to go. Yeah, here's the dragon skull I mentioned last time we were down here. I just completely missed it because I was busy fighting that guy. But... we gotta run all the way back to the very first bonfire in the area. What happened here?
My father, all hollow now, has been subdued. He will cause no more trouble. Finally over. I will return to Catharina. You assisted us most greatly. I can hardly return the favor, but please accept this. It's of no use to me now.
And we get a Titanite slab for doing the quest this way.
Dear Father.
Poor Siegmeyer. Poor guy went hollow after losing faith in himself. Well, there is one more place we need to go before we get on with things, and that is at the Daughter of Chaos bonfire. There's a couple of things we need to do here, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually head back out into the Demon Ruins, because there's some treasure we can get now that we have the orange charred ring. Down in the huge lava lake where Ceaseless Discharge was standing, when I ran through here before, there was a bunch of Taurus demons down there that I declined to fight, because there wasn't really much we could do over there at the time. Now that we have the orange charred ring, we can get through the lava and grab the stuff that they're guarding. So, let's see. Black Knight Halberd, and I need the Darkwood Grain Ring to help deal with the Taurus demons. There we go. Grass Crest Shield, because I have to two-hand this thing. There we go. Okay, time to face the legions. Now, you definitely want to try and snipe these guys to pull them to you if possible. Because the last thing you need is every single one of these guys aggroing onto you, because they've got a pretty decent aggro range. There's what looks like 6 in total. Just one of these is bad enough. And if we're lucky, they may drop their Great Axe. Alright, next up is you. Ah, just barely timed that wrong. Still, though, I'll take a glancing blow over a direct hit. Next should be you. Launch you away from that edge. Because the big danger here really isn't them... Oh, there's 7. Never mind. But the real danger here really isn't their raw attack power. It's the fact that between the cliff right here and the lava pools, they can knock you into some pretty dangerous environmental hazards. Raw attack power is also a factor, of course, but it's mainly the environment that's kind of your enemy here. Come on. There we go. I like luring them back this way. Kind of finding them in this big open area. You want to be really careful with these two here on the right, because it is actually surprisingly easy to accidentally aggro both of them. Also, for some reason, this guy likes walking through the lava. Doesn't hurt him, of course. Just double check something real quick. Okay, good. Thankfully, these Taurus demons are classed as unique enemies. Once you kill them all, they don't come back. So, if you somehow get killed by one of them after clearing out a few, the ones you already killed will be gone when you come back. So, you can take as many attempts as you need to clear this place out with no loss of progress. Hey, last one drops the Great Axe. Nice. If I was actually carrying this character over to New Game Plus, I'd actually want to keep that, but let's see. Always chartering. Much like the Uchigatana is what I consider to be the best dexterity weapon in the game, for combination of base damage scaling and the fact that it gets burst DPS from bleed, the Demon's Great Axe is, bar none, the most powerful strength weapon in the game. You upgrade that thing to plus 15 down the standard path, it will have an S scaling with strength. And as you can see from its base damage, 114 at plus 0 is nothing to sneeze at, and it gets a lot of base damage. Chaos Flame Ember. I'm gonna grab that. And there's one more item up here on this cliff. Now, I usually have better luck at getting to this item from the front rather than the side, but actually getting up here can be a little bit tricky. Come on. There we go. Oh, almost slid off. Or Soul of a Proud Knight. Okay. That takes care of the lava. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Probably go with the Chloranthy Ring just so we can go ahead and sprint back. And we have one more bit of business to do here. Or, well, technically two more bits of business to do here in this neck of the woods of Lordran. But once we finish that, well, no, technically there are 3 things we need to do, because we need to pay a visit to 2 particular NPCs, and we also need to turn in a couple of side quests. Or rather, complete a couple of side quests. You don't turn them in the traditional sense. So this episode's going to be a lot of kind of just wandering around all over the place, taking care of side quest content and stuff. Because one of the reasons I'm going to be taking the path that I'm going to is, unfortunately, due to the status as a Let's Play, I do need to try and keep any farming I need to do off-screen, because watching me run the same route over and over again, killing the same enemies over and over again, is not very entertaining content. So I'm going to have to do things a little out of order to make sure that I can do the farming I need to do off-screen. Excuse me. So first, we're going to go loot this corpse that's appeared back here. So, this corpse appears if you have been invaded by and successfully kill Kirk Knight of Thorns in all 3 locations, that being the Depths, Demon Ruins, and Lost Izalith. You get his equipment, the Thorns set. Now, the reason this appears here is even though Kirk is known as Dark Wraith Kirk, he was actually a Chaos Servant. He joined forces with the Dark Wraith to get his hands on a Red Eye Orb, so that way he could invade other people freely for their humanity to give to the fair lady here. So, before we move on, I want to show what the old Witch's Ring does. If we talked to the fair lady before, like when we ranked up previously, she doesn't really say anything because we can't understand her. Oh, that's the black screen. But with the old Witch's Ring...
Quayla, my dear sister. Quayla, what is it? Quayla, my dear sister. Yes, it hurts. They've gone still. I am afraid it may be too late. I am so sorry, dear sister.
This poor woman is so feeble and so sick that she can't even tell that we are not her sister. Because her sister is the only other means of contact she's had that can understand her. Like, Engi over here tends to her, but he openly admits that he can't understand a word that she says.
I'll be fine. I have you, dear sister. But promise me that you will take care of yourself. I'll be but that you... Goodbye.
I believe Engi actually comments on that now that we've actually had a conversation with her.
Oh, hello. A pleasure to see you again. But don't neglect the fair lady. She needs some company. In all honesty, I am envious. What comfort can I offer without speaking her tongue? Have you heard? Oh, but what after?
Oh, don't mind. Whole beef, but this. Goodbye, Quaid.
Let's see if he actually says the thing here.
Oh, hello. What is it? Have you heard? Oh, but what
Okay, maybe him
after?
admitting that he can't understand her was the trigger that you get from talking to her. But, yeah. This NPC is written so sympathetically. There's actually people who have gone out of their way to hit the humanity cap of 65,000 and some change, because it uses 1 byte of data. But, yeah, they hit the humanity cap to give to her just because her storyline and her character is just that compelling for some people. Especially when you consider that she's all alone now because you had to kill her sister. There's a reason I took off the old witch's ring before doing this. Sorry, Enki, but you gotta go too. I'm gonna go ahead and leave because that'll despawn the maggots. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't say anything when I killed him, but maybe I just killed him so swiftly that he didn't have time to let out his dialogue, but he's like any other egg burdened. He'll spawn maggots when you kill him. It's just easiest to despawn them by quitting the game out. And honestly, I think the best thing for her is just to put her out of her misery. So, I'm sorry, fair lady, but this is ultimately for your own good. Now, there's a very specific reason why I took off the old witch's ring before doing that. The game heavily guilt trips you for doing that if you have the old witch's ring equipped. Because she will ask you, Quelaag, why? It's just, oh, right in the feels. I don't take pleasure from doing that, but we have no more use for anything down here in this little area, so just take what we need and move on. Now, let's see. Warranty and Rusted Iron should do fine. Because we have one more side quest to complete in this area before we can move on to where we actually need to go. And that, we technically didn't get the side quest because when I tried to get the dialogue to actually trigger, Quilana just refused to say anything. But she actually will eventually ask you, if you talk to her enough times, to kill the Witch of Izalith and free her from her torment. Which you have to kill the Bed of Chaos to progress with the story anyway. So whether or not she actually asks you to do it is irrelevant. Once you do so, you can talk to her and turn the side quest in. So that's what we'll be doing here. Actually, if I swap Chloranthy for Fog, I might actually be able to just run right on by without attracting any attention. She's right there, so...
Outstanding. You have done very well. Thank you. I am blessed to have met you. I suppose I can call you fool no longer. I can hardly thank you enough. Please take this. It is all of me.
Fire Tempest. That is the second most powerful version of the Firestorm Pyromancy. I believe she sells the other one. No, she doesn't. Firestorm is like the basic one. Fire Tempest is the next one up. I forget where you get it. You might find it on a corpse somewhere. You might already have it, actually.
Thank you. No luck, Do not let it bother you.
Let me check my inventory. We may already have it, because there's, yeah, here it is, Chaos Storm. Chaos Storm is basically the same thing as Fire Tempest, but it leaves lava patches on the ground. Basically, if you see a pyromancy with Chaos in the name, it leaves a lava patch. So, okay, that's almost everything we have here. There's one more little side quest we can do involving Quelana in Firelink Shrine. I'm not going to let it involve her, but it is something you can do. Am I not wearing Havel's ring? Oh, that's the wolf ring. My mistake. There we go. Okay. So, specifically what you need to do is, after you have either ascended your pyromancy flame or you've picked up a chaos pyromancy, come back and talk to Laurentius.
Oh, hello there. You've been a stranger these days. Why? What's spectacular pyromancy? Tell me about it. I have never seen anything like it.
So, we have a choice here. We can share where we got the pyromancy, which, even if you, like, say, for example, picked up Great Chaos Fireball from a chest or wherever it was we found it, you can still tell him about Quelana, even if you just picked up one of the Chaos Pyromancies and never actually found her. But if you say yes, he will go to Blighttown and never encounter Quelana, which is actually reflected in the game mechanics actually very well, because the spawn requirements to get Quelana to show up is you need to be either in Blighttown or an adjacent area and have a +10 pyromancy flame. Actually looking into the game's code to see Laurentius's equipment, his pyromancy flame's only +8, so he will not be able to find her. He will search fruitlessly, dying again and again to Blighttown's poison, and eventually going hollow from not being able to find her, and ultimately just kind of giving up. So, for his own safety, we're going to tell him no. We like this guy. We don't want him to die.
I see. I suppose I was mistaken. In any case, I definitely trust you. Apologies, my friend. Forget that I said anything. Why? Tell me that.
Oh.
I see. Forget.
I didn't even know you could make that get repeated, but yeah, no. If you do tell him, he will go hollow, and you will have to kill him, so I don't want to do that, so you can just stay here safe at Firelink.
Goodbye, then. Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go hollow.
Okay. And that should be it for, like, all the side quest content that we can do here for now. So, the next stop on our journey is we are going to be going to New Londo Ruins, but we're going to be going through more or less, I'd say, probably 90-95% of it. We can't complete it right now because we lack an item that will allow us to fight the boss there. Estus Flask +6. That is as high as you can get your Estus Flask on a normal playthrough. The Estus Flask will cap at +7, but there are exactly 7 Firekeeper souls in the game, and you need at least 1 Firekeeper alive to reinforce them, so you can only ever get them to +6. So I've got 12 Transient Curses, so I'll probably be fine with the Wolf Ring. But we're going to be going about 95% of the way through New Londo Ruins. While we're down there, we're also going to clear out the Valley of the Drakes. And then we're going to head to our next little side area. Now, the reason I want to do this is normally I do the side area first. and then go to New Londo. The reason I'm doing it like this is because there is an enemy in New Londo that you can kill for Titanite chunks. And you need quite a few to get your weapons up to the highest tiers possible. So, what my game plan is I'll go ahead and go as far through New Londo Ruins as I can, clear out the Valley of the Drakes, and then we'll move on to where we actually want to go. So, when I inevitably will not be able to finish said content in the end of this particular stream, I can come back here off-screen and farm chunks. So, the first thing we want to do is we actually want to go down here, because there's an NPC that I've been ignoring more or less the whole time. This is the very first blacksmith you can potentially find. He's kind of hidden in plain sight.
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Rickett of Vinheim. I was once an established smith, though. Look at me now. Can you believe it?
Yeah, this guy's a very early game NPC.
What is it? Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escape. It's safe here. I can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best in Vinheim. What is it? There's nothing to talk about. We're both cursed, undead. But what's there really to moan about?
So this guy will actually sell you some basic sorceries as well as a catalyst. You can buy the basic soul arrow spells from him for more expensive than what Griggs offers. So if he is technically your very first sorcery teacher, but he's mainly here in case you have problems with durability before meeting Andre and buying the smith boxes.
Come back soon. Smithing helps soothe my nerves. Don't let me wither away out of idleness.
He also has some dialogue about Big Hat Logan, which is why I mentioned that he's a kind of early game NPC. Now we actually do have something for him. We have the Large Magic Ember. Ember required for weapon ascension. Large Magic Ember, a form of sorcery. Handled only by the Vinheim Magic Blacksmiths. Ascends +5 magic weapon, allows reinforcement to +10, the most powerful level for magic weapons. So, Rickert here is the blacksmith that lets you ascend down the magic path, which magic is basically the same thing as divine. It splits the damage on your weapon between physical and magical, only instead of the magic damage scaling off of your faith, it scales off of your intelligence. And also, unlike divine, it doesn't gain any sort of auxiliary modifiers or creature type effects. So, like for the skeletons, for example, you still need a divine weapon to take them out.
Hey, hang on. That's a sorcery ember, isn't it? Yes, it certainly is. First I've seen since my banishment from Vinheim. What do you say, friend? Mind giving that to me? This is no man's land. I'm the only one who could handle it anyway.
Sure.
Yes, as you should. I won't disappoint you. I'm taskless no longer. Come back soon. Smithing helps. Don't let me.
Yep, okay. So he can now ascend magic weapons to +10. Not that we'll be using them, but it's there. Now let's head on back to the ruins themselves. Now, we do have other embers we need to drop off, and a couple of those are going to require a trip back to the catacombs, but we'll do that probably once we finish our business here. And yeah, I've got a pretty decent supply of transient curses on me, so I can probably get through here without needing the increased drop chance, at least for now. So having the wolf ring will help with fighting the ghosts, because yay poise! pick that up without falling? Yes, I can. Nice. I missed. I want to take this one out. I want to take her out because she has a projectile attack. She shoots a projectile similar to the snake women from Sen's Fortress. I believe it's magic damage, but I don't want to like aggro her just by walking by and then have her like follow me around and shoot at me while I'm trying to do stuff. Can I snipe you from here? No, you are in a position where I cannot snipe you. Or at least not easily. There we go. Mind how you go. Okay, that one's coming up then. If you're quick enough, you actually can hit them twice. And that should be enough to kill them. Not this time, it seems. Ghost has the jitters. Are you stuck down there? Oh, he's slowly making his way up. Come on, Ghost. I ain't got all day. There we go. That's them trying to perform their grab. There you are. I see your head. There. That takes care of that one. Alright, so now let's head back into this little cathedral area. Now, because we haven't made any of the side trips I normally make around here, we should have time to clear out the central room here. Oh, right. Can't cast Hidden Body, because, you know what? I'm going to cast Great Magic Weapon, see if I can potentially one-shot them with it. Oh, there's some that attack you out here. Lovely. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the grab. Don't get caught by that. Okay, I can one-shot them with Great Magic Weapon. That actually makes this a lot easier. One hit instead of two is always preferable. Whoa. I think there's another one up there. Anyone else want to have fun? We good? Alright, now we're going to take some damage going up here because there's a ghost in the wall right there. Yeah. That's not the last of the ghosts, but that should be most of them. And then coming up here, we meet a lone sorcerer.
Well, this is a surprise. I get few visitors. Save for ghosts, you have The Lord Vessel. Very impressive. I know exactly what your intentions are. You seek the four kings whom I guard over. This is the key to the seal. The four kings slumber in the deepest chamber of the ruins. Use this key to break the seal and open the floodgates. Oh, and do not forget, the dark wraiths reside in a dark void called the Abyss. But the Abyss is no place for ordinary mortals. Although, long ago, the knight Artorias traversed the Abyss. If you can find him and learn from him, the Abyss may prove surmountable. Hello there. What is it? The key to the seal is now in your hands. I will help you in any way possible. New Londo was sacrificed to contain the Dark Wraiths. Mark my words, the Dark Wraiths are the enemies of man and any living thing that has a soul. They were never meant to roam again. New Londo,
So, Ingward actually serves a unique purpose here. That's this guy's name, by the way. He's Ingward. He's one of the three sealers who flooded New Londo to keep the Dark Wraiths in check. So he's actually got a special property about him, because we actually found another sealer's equipment in Blighttown, along with the Remedy sorcery, which is unique because it's a sorcery that heals. And if you go into his shop inventory, he has the Resist Curse spell, which the Resist Curse spell is basically a free purging stone in your attunement slot. But Ingward's main function is to serve as a means of having a curse broken. If you have somehow been cursed and don't have access to purging stones, you can come all the way here, pay him a liquid humanity, and he will purge the curse from you. Honestly, I have never needed to do that because any time I've gotten cursed in the past, I've had access to purging stones. So, yeah. I don't know why you'd want to have to come out of your way to come here, but there you go. Now, if you're looking to join the Dark Wraith Covenant, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little bit because I officially cannot join them in this playthrough because I have sided with Frampt. In order to actually get to the Dark Wraith Covenant, you have to kill the four kings early. And as you notice, he only gave us the key because we had the Lord Vessel from Ornstein for killing Ornstein and Smo. You have to sequence break to here and kill him to get him to drop the key if you want to join the Dark Wraiths. So let's take a look at that key. Key to the seal. Key to the floodgates of New Londo, which seal away the four kings who fell to dark. The sealers flooded New Londo to banish the Dark Wraiths and the four kings. The agonizing decision was made with the realization that countless lives and the robust culture of the city would be lost. The victims now roam the ruins as ghosts. Yep. All of these ghosts are the vengeful spirits of the hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent people who were drowned in the Great Flood designed to keep the Dark Wraiths at bay. Come on. Oh, it wore off. It wore off. That's not good. Okay. Spent too much time talking to Ingward. There we go. Now, that's definitely not the last transient curse we're going to have to use around here, but that should be the last of the main ghosts that we have to deal with. Yeah, you can tell the devs intended you to come here at least a little bit early, based on how many souls the enemies around here give, or at least the ghosts. and the fact that you're finding things like Souls of the Nameless Soldier and green Titanite shards around here. Raring a sacrifice up here if you need it. And that should be that. Now, unfortunately... Yeah? I'm gonna have to take some fall damage because it's either that or wait 5 minutes for the transient curse to go away. So let me go ahead and equip Sanctus. And I think dropping down from here should be safe. Yeah. I don't know if I would have had enough health to survive the fall from straight up there. I might have been able to survive that, but definitely would have had less health. So before we go open the floodgates, let's head over here. Out here on this ledge, we have a composite bow. And you'll see we are overlooking the Valley of the Drakes. So the composite bow is a short bow type weapon. Fires really fast, but doesn't have as good a range as the longbow does. Contraption does not move yet because the water has not been released yet. We need to open this gate and push this lever. I have a little bit of headcanon that when the doors opened and all the water came spilling out, the drakes there on the bridge were just like, oh, what? Flew in the air just long enough for the water to trickle down to nothing before landing back in their old positions. Okay, so before we step any further, I want the Gargoyle's Halberd, Silver Knight Shield, and I want to re-equip the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring because we have a new enemy type down here. And I want to kill this enemy first before doing anything else. This creepy looking guy up here. Kind of Skeletor looking dude in heavy armor. This is a Dark Wraith. So you want to be really careful with Dark Wraiths. They hit really hard. They can hit potentially pretty quick. They have a kick attack. Let's see. Good. Titanite chunk. Now, these guys are noteworthy for two reasons. You can farm Titanite chunks off of them, and very rarely, it's like a less than 1% chance, they can drop a Titanite slab. I actually remember helping one of Vape's brothers through here on his first playthrough. I was explaining that to him, and the very first Dark Wraith he killed dropped a Titanite slab. Beginner's luck at its finest. So through here, I like keeping the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring equipped just to maximize my chance of getting a, let's see, just to maximize my chance of getting a chunk drop. Let's see. I think these guys can poise break me regardless. I think the breath can't, if I have the wolf ring, so. I want to be very careful doing this because we don't want to attract too much attention. Now, these are draconic creatures, but as we've experienced in the past, these guys use lightning breath. So they are resistant to lightning because they themselves use it. Instead, somewhat paradoxically, because these are dragon-type enemies, they are weak to fire. So I want to use Quelaag's Fury Sword to kill them. Ooh, headshot. Now, come on, big guy. Dude, I don't know what it is with this one in particular, but he really likes doing that. You want to be really careful with the lightning breath. You get caught in a corner from that, and you're as good as dead. Are y'all just on rotation now? I guess so. Maybe you will be a bit more aggressive. Yeah, these three here are the most aggressive. Not the most aggressive, but the most dangerous, because there's three of them in a really tight space. At this point, it should take about 5 good whacks from the Quelaag's Fury Sword two-handed to kill one. If you're interested in joining the Path of the Dragon Covenant, and you don't have online, you can farm these guys for dragon scales. There's a little rope ladder here. Curious as to like what reason this thing's here. I'm guessing this, whatever this thing is, might be like a maintenance or like something for the maintenance of the cage or the door or something, but I don't know. Like, why else would this ladder be here? But what we picked up there was the red tearstone ring, which is the superior counterpart to the blue tearstone ring. Let's see if I can find it. The rare gem called Tearstone has the uncanny ability to sense imminent death. This red tearstone from Kareem boosts the attack of its wearer when in danger. It boosts your attack power instead of your defense. Much like with the blue tearstone ring, I don't like it because it requires you being under, I believe, 30% HP to enjoy its benefits. Alright, big guy, come over here. Good. Now you want to be careful getting too close to them, Because they do actually have a bite attack that they can use against you if you are right up in their face. And then there's this one over here. This is the last of them. Mr. will sometimes fly off the cliff himself. Come on. And I just got zapped. Ouch. Yeah, this guy is being a bit of a nuisance. Oh, he actually might kill me if he gets another good hit. Okay, that's the melee. Whoa, watch out for those wings. Okay, now believe it or not, he was actually guarding something. There's a little hole in the wall here, like quite literally a little hole in the wall. Very easy to miss. Just has a humanity. Good luck trying to grab that and getting out before he notices you and pins you in there. Right, there's one last thing we need to do here in the valley, and that's deal with this guy. So how I'm going to do this is, because he's on a narrow ledge, I am going to equip the Hawk Ring and shoot him in the eye. Let's see. Hawk Ring, where are you at? There you are. Yeah, about 128 damage. That's pretty standard from this distance. Yeah, with the Hawk Ring, we should be avoiding damage fall off. Turn this decaying husk of a formerly majestic creature into a pincushion. A formerly majestic pincushion that smells faintly of roadkill. Okay, and that one didn't drop a dragon scale, I don't think. Or if it did, I completely missed it. But, eh. Alright, so let's get our gear back on. Now, something interesting about the Dark Wraiths, going back to them, is Dark Wraiths are actually considered a special monster type, like undead, or technically like skeletons or demons. They are classed as abyssal, or dark creatures. There is only 2 enemies in the game that I think fit that description. Potentially 3. There's a couple of enemies that might fit that description, but I don't know if they do or not. But they're kind of like maybes. But I know for a fact the Dark Wraiths are considered abyssal creatures. And there's only like 2 or 3 weapons in the game that are actually specifically designed to kill abyssal creatures. One of which, actually, is Grant, the huge hammer we got from killing Paladin Leroy. Another one is, there are 3 different versions of the Sword of Artorias. 2 of them are able to do extra damage to abyssal creatures. Right there. So something you want to watch out for is the Dark Wraiths aren't just using a sword. They have an invisible shield style thing because they have a gauntlet on their, I believe it's their left hand? Yeah, they have a gauntlet on their left hand called a Dark Hand, which they can use to summon a barrier. Additionally, they can also use the Dark Hand to perform a grab attack, which if it succeeds, not only does a crap ton of damage, but also steals a liquid humanity from you. So, be very on your guard with Dark Wraiths. Nothing. Now, they can occasionally drop their Dark Hands. Come on, big guy. Come over here. So then there's this enemy. This enemy's kind of weird. This is known as a mass of souls. There are 2 of them in the New Londo area. Their primary attack is spawning wisps. They also can just shoot a spear out of their mouths. Now this guy's got a Dark Wraith friend helping him out. And I do believe said Dark Wraith is actually stuck. So something else you want to watch out for is that attack right there, that spit. I don't know exactly what that stuff he's spitting is. I do know it's really caustic, though, and it sticks to you like glue. And it'll basically cover you in whatever that muck is, really slow down your movement, and you'll take a lot of damage over time. Thankfully, they're unique enemies, though, so they don't come back. Alright, that's their kick, that's their guard break. That's the Dark Hand's shield ability. Right, sometimes they'll follow that up with a finisher, but that's the grab. You definitely don't want to be getting grabbed by that, if you value your humanity, at least. Another Titanite chunk. Thank you, sir. Now from here, there's an elevator that goes up. That will take you to the top of the ruins, where we first encountered those ghosts. And I don't think, because since we cleared the other part of the ruins, like the upper level, I don't think there's going to be any ghosts that will attack us around here. But Transient Curse is on standby just in case. And there is a very important item up in this area of the ruins. Right up these stairs. A very large ember. Ember required for weapon ascension, huge ember of highest quality, handled by the blacksmiths of Astora. Ascension for +10 standard weapon allows reinforcement to +15, on par with the greatest weapons of legend. That right there is why the Dark Wraiths drop Titanite chunks, because you need Titanite chunks to get weapons from +10 to +14. So now we need to go through here, out into this little back area. Nothing. Okay. Another soul. And if it wasn't obvious, this thing here is a hidden wall. You're coming over here because I don't want to potentially lose your drop to the water. Nope. Alright. He was guarding another chunk. Being in Japan means my time zone allows me to pop in. Oh, how do, Ollie? I didn't know you were in Japan right now. How you doing, my man? See a large soul of a proud knight. There's some more cracked red eye orbs over here if you're into that kind of thing. I don't think you can purchase those, or if you can, like, only Koth sells them. Awake, you think? So how's Nippon? I need to check something here. I need to put myself back on Do Not Disturb. There we go, because I don't need Steam notifications popping up. On the Shinkansen to Tokyo right now, so far pretty good. Okay, that's cool. Another Titanite chunk. And then here's a shortcut back to the kind of like Valley of Drakes area if you wanted to go that way. So one of the reasons why I wanted to run through here as quick as I could was this building right here, you can see, this is the huge cathedral area that has Ingward standing on the roof. This is where the massive amounts of ghosts are. There are a couple of ghosts where if you don't kill all of them, will actually go through the floor and attack you down here. Because I've killed all the ones up there, though, we should be good at least going through here in order to clear the area out. How are things with me? This is my final day off of 9 in a row. I have to go back to work tomorrow. Boo! Now, let's see. There's a couple of dark wraiths in this room. I should be able to get this guy's... Oh, he saw me. Okay. That works. Did not mean to loose an arrow, but that's fine. Nothing? Okay. Now, before I engage with that mass of souls, there's another dark wraith over here. You can just kind of barely see his arm peeking out. I missed. Let me try that. No? Let's see if I can make him move. I don't want to move too far forward because the mass of souls can see me. Train's arriving. Hope your stream goes well. Much love. Thank you, Ollie. And thank you for the Christmas present as well. I streamed that yesterday, at least a little bit. Okay, so when I was doing this on my practice run, he actually had his arm sticking out, and I was able to hit him in the hand to aggro him. There we go. Just had to get it just right. Now that the two dark wraiths are dead, we should be able to deal with this mass of souls pretty easily. Sadly, he is immune to the blasts from his own wisps. This chest should be another Titanite chunk. Yep. There should be one more Dark Wraith right around the corner here. What? How about no? You really want to try and grab me, don't you? Oh, now you do something I can parry. There we go. Man, this guy was like, yeah, I'm wise to you. I'm not going to give you any opportunity to parry me. Oh, no. Okay, so this boss fog here goes to the Four Kings bonfire. You do not want to go in there right now because we do not have the means to actually fight them. We cannot traverse the abyss. If we try, the abyss will quite literally swallow us whole. So, the next closest bonfire is actually this way through the Valley of Drakes into the basin. Now, there is a few things I do want to do before heading that way. We're going to be doing some backtracking here to go drop off some stuff. Because we have all these embers that we're not using, just almost quite literally burning a hole in our bottomless box. So we should probably go give those to the people that need them. Actually, thinking about it, it'll be quicker if I keep going forward at least just a little bit. And I will be back at New Londo to farm chunks off-screen once I actually get to the end of the stream here. But I don't need any blue titanite chunks from these guys. So, what's going to happen is we actually have some business here in the basin to do. Now, you may notice something I neglected to mention about Dusk of Oolacile's summon sign. Because she's not a regular summonable NPC who helps you in fights, she's a merchant. You can summon her even when you're hollow to do business with her. So you'll notice her summon sign's not here. So something's up. If you have killed the Hydra, freed Dusk from the Crystal Golem, once you go to the Duke's Archives and kill a very specific golem that dropped I believe it was the stone pendant that it dropped. Let's see. Yeah, the broken pendant. Broken stone pendant, deeply enchanted. Half of a broken stone pendant, the vine appears to originate from Oolacile. Powerful magic can be sensed from this ancient stone, yet men of this time can neither manipulate nor sense its power, which has a distinct air consisting of both reverence and nostalgia. So, upon picking that up, Dusk of Oolacile vanishes from the basin. And if you walk all the way to the back of the basin where we found that crystal golem... Now, if you're playing the base game and you don't have either Prepare to Die or the Artorias of the Abyss DLC, you can come back here and this corpse will still be here. This has Dusk's equipment, which is the antiquated set. But this little black hole looking thing will not be here. In order to get this to spawn, you have to have the broken pendant in your inventory. And we are now in some place called the Sanctuary Garden. Now, we're not going to be coming here quite yet, because like I said, I do have some side things I want to do first. But this bonfire is a work point, so we can just come back here when we're ready. So the first place I want to go is... where is it? The Tomb of the Giants, actually, believe it or not. Because this is the closest bonfire to Vamos. Now, if you are playing the remastered version, Vamos, I think, has a bonfire in his room. So you can just teleport directly to him if you need his services. But for Prepare to Die players, you have to come here and then walk back. Or go through the entirety of the catacombs, taking the various shortcuts if you want to do it that way. Make sure I won't get sniped by the skeleton on top of that coffin. So, fortunately, once I finish my business with Vamos, I can just homeward bone out of here. I do still want to keep the Ring of Fog equipped, just so I don't accidentally aggro multiple wheel skeletons, because that's just going to completely ruin my evening. Whew. Looks like I've already attracted some attention. Okay. I'm guessing what happened there, because that happened during my practice run too. I'm guessing what happened is that some wisps up above exploded and ended up killing some of the skeletons that are up there. Uh-oh, all of them are coming. That's not good. Okay. I just don't want to move too far ahead too quickly. He might actually de-aggro. Yep, there we go. Mr. 1 HP wheel skeleton over here. Ah, he dropped his wheel. Nice. I didn't mean to shoot that, but oh well. I'm guessing he heard me splashing in the water, and that's why he's coming over this way. Oh, that might actually be trouble. Alright, yo, vamos! I've got some stuff you might be interested in.
Is that an ember from New Londo? And a fine ember it be. What do you say? Why not leave it with me? I'll give you a flame to feast your eyes upon.
Sure. Yeah, even though he says New Londo, he's actually referring to the Demon Ruins, where we found that. I'm guessing the large flame ember was originally supposed to be a New Londo, and they just made that change after they'd already recorded the dialogue.
Yes, very well. We'll get these old bones to work. Well, what was that about? Don't be coming around here without a good reason.
I think giving you an ember is a good reason to come here. Even though your services are basically pointless. So let's look at this Chaos Flame Ember. Chaos Flame Ember is an art of the lost city of Izalith, handled only by blacksmiths knowledgeable in ancient methods. Ascends +5 flame weapon to Chaos Weapon. Chaos weapons are demon weapons augmented by humanity, which inflicts fire damage. Any weapon that has the Chaos modifier gains the same humanity scaling that Quelaag's Fury Sword has. So let's go ahead and give this to him, since we have no use for it.
Why, that's an ember unlike any that I have seen. A very curious pattern. Could it be the flame of the legendary witch? I know. Suppose you left that ember with me. Old Vamos would never let you down. No, not ever.
Old Vamos wouldn't let us down, but he's also very inconvenient to get to, so here, yeah, take it.
Yes, splendid. Splendid indeed. My, oh my, you precious little thing.
So now that I've given you those, do you have anything new to say?
I've told you I have nothing to discuss. If I have anything to offer, it's my smithing and nothing more. Speaking honestly, well,
No, I just gave you the Flame of the Legendary Witch, so why are you asking about it?
well, what was that about? Don't be...
Whatever, man. You have fun with your fire embers. God, for the sake of convenience, I might need to get more homeward bones. Alright. So the next place we need to go is we need to warp to the Chamber of the... Actually, the Dark Moon Tomb would probably be closer. There's a bit less up and down going from the tomb. And there shouldn't be any enemies here either, so we can go with the Chloranthy Ring and the Grass Crest Shield for more stamina. Alright, let's go talk to our friend the giant blacksmith here. I believe he mentions getting the, he says, get shiny from Duke. He's referring to this, the Crystal Ember. Crystal Ember, created by Seath the Scaleless, handled only by the giant gods' blacksmiths. Crystal weapons are powerful but brittle and cannot be repaired once broken.
What's that? Shiny, shiny. Give me that. I make weapons shiny.
Sure.
I had shiny, shiny. I make weapons shiny.
So, Crystal is a bit of a weird one. There are 3 what can be considered regular reinforcement types. If you ascend down an elemental path, you remove stat scaling and your weapon's ability to be buffed. Standard, which is the one I typically use, you keep your base damage, you keep your scaling, and you can buff the weapon if applicable. Not all weapons that can be standard reinforced can be buffed, it depends on the weapon, but for the most part, a majority of them can. The raw ascension, you lose your scaling for enhanced base damage, and you still retain the ability to buff your weapon, even if it is overall just worse than regular standard reinforcement. Crystal weapons are the 3rd and final regular upgrade that you can kind of take. I believe it uses Titanite chunks to do that? Let's see. Yeah, you get Titanite chunks, and as you can see, let's actually look at the stats here. This improves the scaling of the weapon as well as improves the base damage. But as you can see, it massively chunks the durability of your weapon, reducing it by 90%. And once a crystal weapon breaks, it disappears Dark Cloud 1 style. The only way you can repair a crystal weapon or a weapon that is crystal infused is to upgrade it, because that will fully restore the durability of anything you upgrade. So, at most, you can repair a crystal weapon 5 times before it's gone for good. And you have to do it before it breaks.
Comment soon.
Crystal weapons, back in this game's heyday, crystal-infused weapons were generally used for PvP, where the massive attack power would be most beneficial. Because the massive upgrade in power isn't really worth losing your weapon permanently once it breaks if you're strictly doing PvE stuff. Though, don't get me wrong, crystal weapons are incredibly powerful. But the downside of chunking 90% of your durability is just not worth it to me. Oop. Got one of those weird collisions. Alright. There's one more place we need to visit before going back about our business, and that is at the Undead Parish, because we have a couple of embers to give to Andre. So I believe we already looked at the very large ember. Did we look at the black ember? Ember required for weapon ascension. The church had long hid the forbidden black ember, and no living blacksmith knows of it. Occult weapons were used to hunt the gods and are effective against their followers and kin.
Well, I'll be. That's a brilliant ember you've got there. For all my years in the trade, that might be the finest. How's about you leave that ember with me? I'm just an old smith. I'd give my left arm for a gem like that.
I don't think I want your arm, but you are more than welcome to this ember, good sir. You have been nothing but helpful this entire time that I've known you.
Well, thank you mightily for that. Now, just leave the rest to me. Andre of Astora gets the job done, you shall see.
Oh, you have, and you've done so, and more. I know it's good. It's going to be in good use in your hands.
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
I forgot to mention this, by the way. I purchased the feather arrows from the giant blacksmith. He's just more convenient to get to than the crestfallen merchant in Sun's Fortress.
Show me that ember of yours. Well, I've never heard of a black ember. How about leaving that ember with me? I find it strangely fascinating.
Sure.
Yes. Well, sacred spell. I sense great potential indeed.
Alright. Well, if we cared and we were running a faith build, we could upgrade our divine weapon into an occult weapon. In case I didn't mention this before, because honestly, it's been a long week, so I don't really remember if I've done so or not. But what occult weapons do...
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Sorry, Andre. But what occult weapons do is they're basically an inverted divine upgrade. It's occult leans a bit more on the physical side than divine does, but it's still a physical magic split with magic scaling off of your faith. And instead of doing more damage to skeletons, it specifically does more damage to the gods of Anor Londo and anyone aligned with them. So, specifically, occult weapons, in terms of regular enemies that you are most likely to be fighting, occult weapons do more damage to both types of sentinels, Silver Knights, Dark Knights, Gwendolyn, and the final boss. So, they're useful for very specific circumstances, which is actually the main reason why I'm hanging on to... Where is it? Velka's Rapier, because Velka's Rapier has an innate occult modifier on it. Alright, so that should be all of the side business we need to do around here, so let's go ahead and prepare. Oh, actually, we can probably... instead of prepare, let's repair. Get all my stuff fixed. Actually, how many chunks do I have? Yeah, you know what? I probably could have saved a few souls just upgrading my coat. Oh well. Yeah, I want to go ahead and get this stuff to +9. There we go. Yeah, my inventory is kind of a mess. Let's clean this up. We don't need those anymore, or at all. We're not going to be getting Egghead. Let's see. We don't need Prism Stones anymore, not on this character. Save all the souls we've picked up. Don't need Green Titanite, Twinkling Titanite, or Dragon Scales. Let's see, we don't need the Jagged Ghost Blade, or the Demon's Great Axe. Don't need the Composite Bow. Don't need the Bone Wheel Shield, funny as that would be. Large arrows we don't need. Keep the Symbol of Avarice. We don't need the Antiquated set. By the way, speaking of the Antiquated set, the Crown of Dusk, which is the headpiece for the Antiquated set, actually has a special effect on it. Special magic crown bestowed upon Dusk, Princess of Oolacile, upon her birth. The wearer is blessed by all manner of magic. This raises the power and effect of the wearer's magic, but damage suffered by magic attacks also rises. I believe this lowers your magic defense in exchange for increasing your spell power. It's either that or it reduces your health, because I know the Dusk Crown Ring also does that. Personally, I'm not a fan of effects like that, so I'm just going to junk it when I get the chance. Let's see, Dingy equipment should be fine. Let's see. Painting Guardian set, leave that alone. We can get rid of the Thorns equipment. Now, I actually do want to look at the Thorns equipment, because this also has a special effect on it. Helm of Kirk, Knight of Thorns, and notorious member of the Dark Race. A dense patch of thorns grows on its surface. It is a fitting item for the murderous Kirk, for by simply wearing it and rolling, one can damage enemies. Let's see, we want Cable's equipment for later. Goldhem Black's fine. Rings. We don't need the Red Tearstone ring. We don't need another Ring of Sacrifice, because we've got a regular Ring of Sacrifice already. We're done with Lava. We don't need the Old Witch's Ring. And we don't need the Ring of Favor and Protection. Okay, so that should be everything done. So let's head to the Sanctuary Guardian, then. Or the Sanctuary Garden, not Guardian. It's getting... I'm very sleepy. I've got a full stomach, and I was up late last night, so... Anybody who was watching my birthday stream would know that, but... Whew, I'm definitely getting a little bit on the sleepy side. So, let's make some preparations. I want to keep the halberd. The bow's not going to help too much. Replace the transient curse with blooming purple moss clumps, because what's coming up can inflict toxic. And, okay, want the Darkwood Grain Ring. So we're about 2/3 of the way, well, not even 2/3, we're about halfway through the stream, or at least the normal stream runtime, and we haven't fought a boss yet, so let's go ahead and fix that, shall we? Say hello to the Sanctuary Guardian, a freaking manticore. So, one thing you want to note is that the entire arena is flooded, and as you no doubt noticed when we first came in, this guy has lightning breath. Oof. Got my shield down at the wrong time. I want to try and get behind him to bait a tail swipe. Because that scorpion tail of his inflicts toxic if he hits you with it. So, something to note about the flooded arena, as you noticed. The lightning projectiles this guy shoots will spread out in a circle. Okay. Let my stamina recharge. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that tail is why I have the blooming purple moss clumps, just in case. Though, you want to be careful when he just stands still like that, because he's either going to do a 4-shot volley or a really large shot. Oop, okay. Got it. Okay, Guardian Tail. That will stop him from using his, that'll stop him from using his, toxic attack. Now, you still want to be careful when you're behind him, because he's not defenseless. He can and will buck. Right, that attack right there, if you can roll through it, is the ideal time to get a couple of hits in. Missed. Ooh. Now that we're done with the whole tail business, we can actually go on the offensive a little bit more. Oh, yep, there's the buck. All right. Yeah, if he catches you, he will immediately follow up with a ram attack. Very nasty stuff. You have to be almost perfect on that timing. Wrong button. Oops. That's what I get for hitting the wrong key. My muscle memory blanked on me and thought that X was the attack button. No, you stupid. That's drinking Estus, and you just chugged it right in front of the boss's face. So, I fully deserve to get a claw to the face for that one. He just barely clipped me with that. Woo! Yeah, that's definitely one of those things where if he hits you once, he hits you with all of them. Die! Okay, so he was a bit more jumpy than normal in that fight. Normally when I fight him, he's a lot more prone to using his attacks that leave him open, like the headbutt or the wave attack that he does. But, it's fine, it's whatever. Let's look at that Guardian tail. Sliced tail of the Sanctuary Guardian. This flexible, spiked, and highly poisonous tail would make a rather obnoxious weapon. Indeed. I believe that inflicts toxic, though, not poison. Let's see. Actually, no, that does inflict poison. It's one of those weird things when the boss uses it on you, it's toxic, but when you use it, it's poison. I believe that is the only guy who can actually inflict status effects around here. At least in this particular instance, so... we can probably go with a green blossom and be fine. So let's look at that thing's soul, too. Guardian soul. Soul of the white-winged lion sanctuary watchkeeper who dreaded the spread of the abyss. The Guardian exhibited traits of several animals other than lions, suggesting that it was no ordinary beast, but rather closer to the beings known as demons. This is a soul that you can freely pop. The Guardian soul cannot be turned into anything. So feel free to just pop it, get the souls that you need out of it, and move on with your life. So, let's see, I actually want to equip the wolf ring. I think this is where I came from. No, it's not. This is the way forward. Oolacile Sanctuary, so we are in Oolacile. A non-hostile mushroom person. Noticeably, this one doesn't have any limbs.
Well, look at this one. From what faraway age hast thou come? Thy scent is very human indeed, but not intolerable. Ah, Princess Dusk's savior. Thine aura is precisely as she described. I thank thee deeply for rescuing Her Highness, but Princess Dusk is here no longer. Snatched away by that horrifying primeval human. And so I must ask, couldst thou once more play the savior?
I find this really funny because Dark Souls has a lot of themes around it, and it's overall like a very deep sort of narrative that a lot of people have spent a lot of time looking into and picking out the finer details from it. So like, you get so involved with all of the minutiae that a generic save the princess plot comes completely out of left field.
Thank you. I am Elizabeth, guardian of this sanctuary. Something of a godmother to Princess Dusk. I shall assist thee to my utmost, for I am one with the sorceries of Oolacile.
Okay, so what can you tell me about this place?
Thou shalt see further on. An abyss was begat of the ancient beast, and threatens to swallow the whole of Oolacile. Knight Artorias came to stop this, but such a hero has nary a murmur of dark. Without doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss, overcome by its utter blackness. Indeed, the abyss may be unstoppable. Still, I have faith that Princess Dusk may be rescued yet. Thou shalt see and
okay. You don't have anything else to say. Now, while Dusk of Oolacile is currently indisposed, Elizabeth here, no, she did mention her name. Elizabeth has most of the same stock that Dusk does. I don't think she sells... Oh, maybe she does sell Hidden Body, I don't remember. If she does, I guess she doesn't have it because I already bought it, but... she also sells repair powder and gold pine resin.
May the flames guide thee.
So if you need some Oolacile magic and you missed your chance to get it from Dusk, you can get it from Elizabeth. Alright, so, first things first, I want to make some more adjustments. I want to equip Quelaag's Fury Sword, and everything else, honestly, should be fine. Main reason being is a majority of the enemies in this upcoming section are either weak to fire, or have a crap ton of physical defense that the fire damage just completely bypasses. Tag you in the head. I can. Okay, say hello to the scarecrows. Also, I was wrong. There are enemies that can do status effects here. Some of the scarecrows can inflict bleed. But the scarecrows are effectively the same as the foliage demons from Darkroot Garden. Only they have weapons. That's like the main difference. You'll notice they drop moss just like the foliage demons do. So we haven't actually been there to really sort of explore it thoroughly. But given the current sort of like look of the area, the fact that it has these white flowers here, and where we find Dusk of Oolacile in the main game area, Oolacile is the past form of Darkroot Garden. And if you actually compare like the in-game layouts of the two areas, there is a lot of similarities between the two. They are almost identical, and any sort of differences you find can be attributed to the passage of time. So the scarecrows are the past form of the foliage demons. These guys are, I believe these are guardians. The same as the stone guardians in Darkroot, only instead of a sword and shield, they have a giant great axe. And they have very devastating attacks that you don't want to block. You want to try dodging them, if at all possible. And as you noticed, if he actually manages to land a hit on you with that axe, whether it does damage or not, he will usually follow it up by causing an earthquake. A localized earthquake. Twinkling Titanite. There are much better places than these guys to farm Twinkling Titanite, so that's basically just free souls. But yeah, being plant creatures, the scarecrows here are weak to fire. And the stone guardians there, being made of stone, fire just completely ignores their physical defense. Let's see. Ah, here he comes. Uh-oh. He brought a friend. That's not good. Thankfully, the Stone Guardians are a little slow. Okay, Scarecrow's leashing. Doesn't look like the Stone Guardian is, though. Oh, no, they are leashing. Let me see if I can get the Scarecrow. No, he's coming. Idiot. Come here. Let's see if there's anything around here. Nope. However, there is something inside this building. do watch out for that hole. That is not a bottomless pit per se, but you will not survive that drop. Alright, let's see the Guardian Gauntlets. The armor set worn by the Stone Guardians is kind of scattered throughout the Royal Wood. Now, you do want to be careful with that vertical axe slam of theirs, because even sometimes if they miss, they'll still do the earthquake ability anyway. So here in the hidden in the grass, a blue titanite slab, if you're looking to upgrade either a magic or another kind of weapon that uses it. Okay, controller is not wanting to behave today. Let's see. Can I get you in the head? I can. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out the parry timings for the Scarecrow, and as you saw earlier, I'm still not, like, really good at it. They still get some chip hits in every now and again. Here comes the Stone Guardian. You don't need a camera full of leaves, thank you very much. You come up here. Now, they actually can drop their axe, if you're lucky. I don't know if it lets you do the earthquake thing, but I know it's classed as a great axe. Isn't good. Yeah, these guys are annoying when they get in a group and stagger their attacks like that. It's kind of annoying trying to get an opening. I don't know how I managed to backstab you, but I'm not going to complain. Purple moss clump. Okay, that should be it for them. So while we're looting the area, let's go ahead and equip Sanctus. Just get a little bit of HP back. Oh, there's one more. Never mind. Come on. Let's play. Yeah, that overhead slam of theirs is the easiest attack to parry. Okay. Nope, one more. Still. Alright, that should be the last of them. At least on this side. And here we have a nice field of what looks like marigolds. Or some other kind of golden flower. Guardian legs. That was a proper dragon. Not just any dragon either, a black dragon. Generally speaking, in most fantasy settings, the black dragon is the most powerful kind of dragon, at least of the chromatic type. Alright, let's see. I think I'll keep Sanctus equipped, but I do want to swap to the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring. Because there's a crystal lizard coming up, and I'd rather it not get away. What do we get? Oh, just 2 Twinkling Titanite? Okay. I mean, could have been worse. I definitely would have liked some extra stuff, though. Alright, be careful with this one, the one that has the shears. As you can see, they inflict bleed. If you can parry the shears, I have not managed to figure out the timing for it. So, I find it best to just block all their hits, get behind them, and deal with them that way. Whoa, 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 whoa. No weird collisions, please. I don't want to go sliding into a huge hole. Okay, what's actually funny about these scarecrows is you can actually get their plows as a drop. It's a spear-type weapon, but it's mainly a joke. Alright, let's see. There's another crystal lizard coming up, but this one leads to a very obvious trap. So I'm going to clear out all the enemies in the immediate area first before going after the crystal lizard. So, let's see. See if I can get that scarecrow. Good shot, good shot. I don't think I got his attention. I got somebody else's. You know what? You'll do. As long as I get somebody's attention. But yeah, this area actually should look a little familiar. Because we've been in this part of Darkroot before. This is where the forest hunters hang out. Specifically, around here is where the Forest Hunter Archer was perched. Alright, let's deal with you. I don't like fighting you so close to a bunch of ledges, but it'll have to do. Ah, now you aggro. And this is where we encountered Alvina to join the Forest Hunters. All right, come here, big guy. So that should be all the enemies in the immediate vicinity. Anything else is too far away to really be a threat, so let's go get the crystal lizard over here. So it should be around here somewhere. Ah, right on top of it. Nice. Just more souls, really. Alright, let's see. Where's my wolf ring? There it is. Ugh. Here comes the Scarecrow Brigade. Okay, you want to be careful with these, because once you aggro one, you aggro all three of them. And as you can see, they're just kind of minding their own business, trimming the trees. But they are guarding something, so we do want to go ahead and grab that. So it means we'll have to deal with them. What do we got? Purple moss, red moss. That should be everything. And then right through here, a gold coin. So to kind of give you an idea of where we are relative to Darkroot Garden, the Gate of Artorias will eventually be built up there. So now that we've cleared this area out, we want to go up here. Oh, look, there's more of them. I think these two are the last two that have shears. Yeah, take that. Woo! You can probably see down there's a corpse. You might be thinking, ooh, shiny, must go grab, but no. You walk over here. And there's this guy. Now that fall's a bit weird. Sometimes you take fall damage from that, sometimes you don't. Alright, Elizabeth's Mushroom. What's this? Large medicinal mushroom of Elizabeth, Keeper of the Sanctuary. Eating this mushroom invigorates the flesh and greatly restores HP for a limited duration. Its dramatic effect can make the difference between a warrior's life and death. So, this is a consumable version of the replenishment miracle. As far as regeneration effects in the game goes, there are 3 different kinds. There's the one you get from Sanctus, which is 2 HP every 2 seconds. Hang on. Yeah, that sounds about right. 2 HP every 2 seconds. And then there's Replenishment, the Miracle, which regenerates more than that. I believe Replenishment replenishes or regenerates HP either every second or the regen rate is far greater. And then you have Elizabeth's Mushroom. Elizabeth Mushrooms rapidly regenerate your HP, where you have to take multiple hits in quick succession to actually die when you have one of those active. They are incredibly powerful. They are also incredibly rare. You can only get 4 of them in a single playthrough. At least through normal means. So, at least as far as I'm concerned, outside of very specific circumstances, Elizabeth Mushrooms are considered part of the Too Good to Use club. Just because it's going to be really hard to get more of them. Alright, just jump over that. Guardian Helm, I think if that's not the last piece of the Guardian set, I think the armor is the only piece we're missing, yeah. Glowing moss clump. Nice. I actually think that over there, that body, pretty sure that is actually the Guardian armor. Why am I hearing steps over here? That's weird. Hold on. Yeah, that's very weird. I was hearing Stone Guardian footsteps over here. Like, it was very distinctly coming towards my left ear, so, You know what? I think something may have actually happened, because there's supposed to be two of these guys up here. Yeah, where'd the other one go? That's weird. He's around somewhere, I'm sure. Guardian armor. Now, did the other armor... Oh! He did fall! He must have fallen and had to walk around. That must have been why we heard them coming from the direction we did. That's weird. I've never seen that happen to him before. Yeah, he's probably not too happy that we just killed his buddy. So, come here. Alright, that should be that then. All the loot around here, anyway. I don't think there's any enemies left in this area either. Or at least not in this part of it. Did we get the treasure over here already? We did not. And here we find an elevator that actually goes down. Instead of just a pit. All right, 1 second, need to get a drink. Oh, man, that water tastes good. Alright, so. We have this boss fog, but this is important. Don't go there immediately, cross this bridge instead. And, hey. We've never seen you before. You're dressed very fancily. I like your outfit.
Let me guess. Snatched by a shadowy limb and dragged off to the past?
Yep.
Yes, of course. Exactly what happened to me. We are both strangers in this strange land. But at least now there are two of us.
This, I don't believe he actually will explicitly mention his name outright, unless you engage him in combat. This is Marvelous Chester.
Did you happen across Knight Artorias? The legendary abyss walker from the old tales? Well, if you haven't, it's just as well. He's a colorless sort, if you ask me. So, what did that giant mushroom make you do? Not that I care. It's none of my business.
So that's a very nice and subtle hint that something isn't quite right with Artorias there. Now, granted, Chester is also just a smarmy ass, so he could just be making fun of the guy for the sake of making fun of him. But, colorless is kind of an antiquated insult meaning uncultured. Because, usually, using color in that manner would be
so
like...
long.
Sorry. Would be like, if you're going on tour somewhere and you want to check out the culture of the place you're visiting, you might say something along the lines of wanting to see, like, I believe the actual turn of phrase is partake in the local color or something like that. But basically, he's calling him brutish. So, Chester here.
Oh, still alive, are you? Think of anything that you might need?
You may notice those bags he's got.
I've little to talk about, really. Oh, you know me. What do I know?
I mean, we don't really know that much about you, that's why we're asking. But Chester here will act as a merchant for various things you may need. The big thing with Chester, though, is that due to his location, his prices are double what you would pay elsewhere. So, since you can't even get here without getting into the Duke's archives first, and every single bonfire in this area, which this is the Artorias of the Abyss DLC content, by the way, so I will probably be referring to it as the DLC in the future. But basically every bonfire in the DLC areas is warpable. So if you need to go buy something, just warp out, buy what you need, and warp back in. You really don't need to buy anything from this guy, like, ever.
So long.
And you notice I activated that elevator. That elevator takes us up there towards the Oolacile Sanctuary side of the Royal Wood. Okay, how long is this gonna take? Yeah, we're probably gonna be sitting here for a minute, so let me go ahead and update my equipment. Let's see. I'm going to want the Gargoyle's Halberd for this one. No, not the Black Knight Halberd, the Gargoyle's Halberd. I'm going to want that. I'm going to want the Darkwood Grain Ring. Seems I've got the hiccups. Excuse me. There we go. Let's see. Estus Flask, 40 Humanity. So the Oolacile Library Catalyst is definitely going to be useful. Funnily enough, even though this is primarily a melee brawl, the longbow will actually come in handy here. If I can do it right. I may not be able to. Do I want to equip my Divine Blessings? This guy can be a little rough. No, I don't think so. I should be okay. Here's what I'll do then. Let me get the Silver Knight Shield equipped. I will actually go ahead and use this Twin Humanity, just get it out of my inventory. It'll fully heal me the rest of the way. Give me a little bit of defense too, because Liquid Humanity does that. Alright, let's get Great Magic Weapon ready. Got the Catalyst, got my bow. Alright. Let's head into what is considered one of the best fights in the game. Knight Artorias, the legendary Abyss Walker. So, big thing is, this is basically just a duel. It's you versus Artorias. A big thing with this fight is that you kind of just want to react to what he does, get one swing in, and don't let that happen to you. I was actually about to warn you about that. Whatever you do, do not get directly behind him, because otherwise he'll do that. You also want to watch out for any of his slams, whether it be an overhead smash or that somersault that he did. Anything that Artorias does that involves him slamming his sword down, when he does slam his sword down, it ignores iframes. So he can hit you while you're on the ground, he can hit you while using the Darkwood Grain Ring. So be very careful with your dodges in this fight. You also want to watch out when he's doing the somersault, because he can do multiples in a row, up to 3. Oof. He's trying to get away. Get the bow out, and hit him in the head. Oh, I missed. Okay, this is bad. He might actually kill me here. I usually deal with this by meleeing him, but what he's done is he has used a unique version of the power within Pyromancy that is Abyss-powered. He's going to be doing a lot more damage for a little while. And he is specifically programmed to start doing this at specific health thresholds. And the main gimmick of the fight, aside from this being a duel, is I actually like this from a lore perspective because we have Artorias' ring. It's the Wolf Ring. And it gives you poise. This guy was known to be indomitable in battle and nearly impossible to interrupt or knock down. So the whole thing with this Abyss power-up of his is that you have to poise break him. The easiest way to do that is to shoot him in the head. Now the reason I'm not using Great Magic Weapon here is because I'm constantly going to be swapping to my bow to interrupt him, so that's going to get rid of my buff. Now he has another attack where he can basically throw pocket goop at you. He does that if you're flanking him, but he hasn't really done it right now, which is a bit weird. He usually does it more often. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, I thought he was going for the power up there. What? He will usually try to roll away from you and gain a lot of distance before doing the power up. Oof. Ooh. Oof. Ah, that's the pocket goo. Whew. always that back attack that messes me up. Uh-oh. Oof. I'm surprised he hasn't tried chaining those somersaults. He usually does that 2 to 3 times by now. Got him. You fought well, Knight Artorias. That went a lot smoother than it did in my practice run. He kicked my ass in the practice run. I actually ran out of Estus and had to use a humanity to heal when I was doing this earlier in the week. But, no, that went a lot smoother. That went a lot smoother. Probably helps that I'm more practiced at using the bow to break his poise like that. Alright. Okay, I believe Chester has some new dialogue now that we've actually done in Artorias there. We actually also picked up his soul. I just now noticed it calls him a victim. He very much is a victim, poor guy. Soul of Lord Gwyn's Knight Artorias, who was consumed by the Abyss. The legend that Artorias repelled the Abyss only told half the story. It seems that he was defeated and his honor preserved by some unsung hero, who was the true victor over the Abyss. Hint, hint, that's totally us! I was like, why else would we be here? Yo, Chester.
Oh, for Juniper's sake, put some spring into your step.
Okay, I don't know what my giant fox plush has to do with anything. Oh, you're probably speaking of another Juniper, my bad.
Did you really slay Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, magnificently so. Believe it or not, Oolacile has brought the Abyss upon itself, fooled by that toothy serpent. They upturned the grave of primeval man and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking? But to you and I, it's all ancient history. You have to ask yourself, does it really matter? So long.
So he gave us a little bit of an interesting tidbit there. That, Oolacile is 100% responsible for the Abyss outbreak, because whatever this primeval human that both he and Elizabeth have been mentioning got disturbed from his deathly slumber, and based on the term that he uses there, upturned, I'm guessing they not only dug him up but also desecrated his grave. So when we actually meet this creature, I'll have a lot more to say about him. But for now, definitely very ominous. Let's see. I think for this area, I want the wolf ring. I also want Quelaag's Fury Sword, because a lot of the things around here are weak to fire. Also, by the way, if you are playing Remastered, one thing I should probably do before I forget, I want to reverse my hollowing, because we can get invaded by an NPC in here. So, here we go. If you are playing Remastered, or if you somehow have access to online, make sure you have online turned off. Oolacile Township is second to, I believe, Orlando in terms of being a PvP hotspot. It is very, very high traffic, and you'll be getting invaded by people constantly if you do not play offline. So, here we have a new enemy, bloatheads. These are the residents of Oolacile after the Abyss outbreak drove their innate humanity completely bonkers. And as you can see, it's mutated them very, very horribly. So, when I was talking earlier about the Dark Wraiths being abyssal creatures and that there are specific weapons designed to combat abyssal creatures, I mentioned that there were some enemies that may or may not be considered abyssal creatures for the purposes of those creature type modifiers. Specifically, I was referring to the bloatheads. Because while they are in the lore the result of an abyssal outbreak, I don't know if in the code they are considered abyssal creatures or not. I do know that they are in fact though weak to fire, so Quelaag's Fury Sword will do just fine. I'm also really sucking it up at these parries right now. Something to watch out for with these regular bloatheads here is they have a variant of the Hollow's blender attack, where they just kind of flail their arms in front of them and try to shred you. Oh, lovely! Ambient screaming. That's always nice to hear. I want the Ring of Fog for what's coming up here. Because of that guy. That's another new enemy, a Bloathead Sorcerer. A very dangerous enemy. Because Bloathead Sorcerers cast unique spells. And if I can help it, I want to try and kill him before he gets a chance to cast anything. I want to equip the Crest Shield because they are casting magic, so they are doing magic damage. Let's see, Wolf Ring. And I want to use Hidden Body for this to maintain a decent aggro. Right. Just gonna run up on him and try to poise break him before he gets a chance to cast anything. Okay. At my current health level, this guy could potentially one-shot me. His spells are really, really powerful. So you want to kill him before he causes any trouble. Soul of a Brave Warrior. I'm going to want my Gargoyle's Halberd here. Get Great Magic Weapon ready. I'm also going to top up with an Estus, just in case. Because once we go down here... Dark Spirit, Marvelous Chester. Oh, one of the bloatheads just kind of walked off. Now, Chester kind of cheats. He has that special kick of his. And whatever you do, do not let him get distance. That is a sniper crossbow that he's wielding. And he will rapid fire that thing. And unlike most NPCs that use ranged weapons, he will lead his shots and he is very likely to get headshots on you. He can and will stun lock you to death by rapid fire headshotting you. He's also got unique throwing knives that do bleed. You get hit point blank by those, you are more or less guaranteed to get a bleed proc. And his bleed proc is really, really powerful. But you'll notice he also didn't leave like a puddle behind for us to pick up. He's really only worth souls, and that's it. Let's see. Let's put the Fury Sword back on. I think we need to go back up around this way. Oh yeah, by the way, something I forgot to mention. I probably should have mentioned this earlier before coming down here. I already have it equipped because I have 4 attunement slots and I only really use 4 spells. But if you don't have Cast Light, make sure you have Cast Light. The Sunlight Maggot or a Skull Lantern will also do the trick. There are some hidden walls in Oolacile Township that can only be revealed if a light source is shined upon them. So make sure you have some kind of light source handy before coming down here. It's not like Gravelord Nito levels of necessary, but it is nice to have. Starting right here. That hidden wall will only be revealed if you have a light source. And in here, a very unique item. Silver Pendant. I want to equip that in my use item slots right away. Silver Pendant deflects dark. Silver Pendant engraved with the crest of Artorias. One of the ancient treasures of Anor Londo presented to Artorias for facing the Abyss. Effectively deflects the dark of the Abyss, especially in its magic forms. So you guys will more than likely, coming up here, see what makes the Bloathead Sorcerers so dangerous. I want the Ring of Fog so they don't see me. One of them I'm pretty sure is already aggroed onto me because I did hear some noises. Ow. So you notice he shot like a dark fireball at me. You saw how much stamina damage that did. These guys use abyssal magic. The big thing with abyssal spells is that they primarily do magic damage, and in the case of the abyssal, there are abyssal pyromancies too. They do fire base instead of magic, but what's important about any abyssal spell that is offensive, Dark Orb here is a good example. I think this is the spell they were casting on us. Let's see. Abyss sorcery discovered by an Oolacile sorcerer on the brink of madness. Fire Giant Dark Orb. In contrast to standard soul sorceries, Abyss sorceries are weighty and inflict physical damage. Perhaps human souls, because of their humanity, produce sorceries with more tangible presence. So what this means is the abyssal spells do split damage. They do whatever their primary element is, which is magic for sorceries, and for the abyssal pyromancies, that's fire. But they supplement it with a split into physical damage, and because of the physical damage add-on, they do a lot of stamina damage if you block them. Going back to the when I was discussing the pinwheel masks, and I brought up the infamous Giant Dad mean build. Giant Dads will usually run a pyromancy flame with a abyssal pyromancy called Black Flame. Specifically because it does such heavy physical damage, it's really good at getting around shields or people who like to turtle. So the Crest Shield is probably going to be your best bet for dealing with any abyssal magic from a single target. There are going to be instances where either you're going to be getting faced with multiple projectiles at once, or you're being attacked by multiple creatures at once, where that may not necessarily be the most feasible course of action. But that is where the Silver Pendant comes in. What the Silver Pendant does is, inside your active item slot, if you use it, you use the same animation that is used when you cast either Force or Wrath of the Gods, and if you time it right then, when the burst happens, when that burst happens, any incoming dark projectile will get deflected. Now, I want to do some things first. This chest is a mimic. Do not open this. Let's see. Brass Crest Shield. This is going to be one of the instances where I want to use the Hawk Ring. because that guy over there is trying to pull in an Orlando Demon Archers by constantly sniping you with Abyss Sorcery while you're walking across an uneven, narrow walkway. So we're going to counter-snipe and just remove him as a factor. Uh-oh. I don't think he can hit us from here. Oh, no, he can! Yeah, you can see how much damage that did. Ooh, he dropped something. Alright. Oh, ooh, careful. Yeah, I don't know why the game does that. But, let's see, let's get back on the wolf ring. Not the wolf ring, the Hagel's ring. Nearly, like, punched with my shield and knocked myself off there. Oof. A long way down. A long way down. Ah, an Oolacile Catalyst. Okay. I believe that is different from the Ivory Catalyst. Though, granted, I've never actually gotten one of these, so I don't know for sure. Let's see. Everyday Oolacile Sorcery Catalyst formed by several enchanted branches. Boost sorcery adjustment, but Lost Land sorceries are not offensive, and attacks are not boosted by intelligence. So is this the same, then? Yeah, more or less. It does more physical damage, and it apparently can poison people, but otherwise, yeah, no, it's the same as the Oolacile Ivory Catalyst. Yet it weighs 4 times as much. Right, so I'm going to equip Sanctus, and I actually want to do a little bit of backtracking, because we couldn't see it before, because it noticed us before we could even really pinpoint where it was. But there's a crystal lizard that appears back here, and I want to go get it. Specifically, it appears on top of that roof. So we're going to have to go around back to where Chester invaded, and where we fought those sorcerers inside the building. Basically back where that is. We need to go in that direction in order to get on the roof. We're going to have to jump to that. Rolls will not be feasible. Okay, it should appear around here. There you are. Alright, just some basic stuff, but nothing too fancy. Whew. I have died trying to get off that thing before, so I find the jump just to be the safer way to do it. Okay, let's deal with this mimic. And you'll notice we're getting these carvings. These carvings are pretty much useless for single player, because they are intended to enable in-game communication with other players, because this game doesn't have any native voice chat or anything. You'd have to do that either over Discord, or if you were playing this on console, over Xbox Live, or whatever the equivalent for PlayStation was, PSN, I think, if it had that sort of thing. But what they do... Let me see if I can find one. Arch tree carving says very good. Head carved of arch trees by Goff in his imprisonment. Goff imparts an emotion to each and every completed carving, which helps him achieve personal enlightenment. When a head is disturbed, it speaks, reflecting the emotion conferred to it. This head says very good. Have another look. Does it not appear quite jovial? This head says I'm sorry. Have another look. Isn't that an expression of atonement? So what you do is you equip these, and then when you use them, you throw them like a, what is it? Like a prism stone.
Very good. I'm sorry.
So you can use that as a form of rudimentary communication with people. I think, funnily enough, you actually can use this like a prism stone to determine if a drop would be fatal or not. Yeah, you'll notice we can't hear the voice because it's too far away. Yet I think if we did it from, say, here...
Very good.
So basically, infinite use prism stones for specifically testing drops. But, I don't really use them. No point, really. Where's that pendant? There it is. Okay. There's a shortcut back to the first bonfire that I'd like to get to. I think that would be a good stopping point. So, let's see. Let me get my shield back on. So now we're getting to the more powerful bloatheads. These ones have red glowing eyes. Don't think I don't see you there. Ooh, nice dodge. Alright, once again, I am equipping the Hawk Ring because there's a lot of dudes that need sniping over here. There's like 5 or 6 of the nasty bloatheads down here. And you don't want to go down there to engage them right away, because there's a bloathead sorcerer guarded by a regular one. And that pair down there has killed me in this area more times than anything else. So I definitely want to make sure all the enemies around here die before engaging with them. can see they're just kind of like lolling their heads back and forth. Right there. So something that's absolutely disgusting is that these guys can drop their bloated heads. The sorcerers can also drop their heads, and it's just nasty walking around with them. I think they have a curse effect similar to the symbol of avarice, if memory serves, where wearing them drains your HP. Alright, so that guy knows we're here. He's looking right at us. We want to wait for him to turn around. Because I've actually died. One of the times I died to him was I didn't wait for him to turn around. I attempted a plunging attack, and he sniped me out of the air. Alright, so... go with the wolf ring, get fall control. Now, the reason I die so much to these guys is it's very easy to mess up the plunging attack, because the... I don't know what you'd call this, like, whatever this is, like the little bump on the end of the stairs, the collision for that's really wonky, and sometimes it'll just let you over, sometimes it won't, and sometimes it displaces you entirely and makes you miss. So, let's see if I can do this right. Yep, I missed. Phew, okay. He was stupid and didn't use that free time to cast any abyss sorceries at me, so that's a blessing. Alright. That guy, unfortunately, sees us and is sniping at us. Can I counter-snipe? Yes, he's in a position where he can't shoot us, but we can shoot him. There's an invisible collision up there that's blocking his fireballs. We can hit him in the legs. Or, I guess, the arm in this case. And he dropped something, so I'm probably going to have to go up there anyway. I'm at least going to knock down that body. Shoot that in the ankles, that should do the trick. Dark fog. Create a cloud of dark fog. Though dark fog is, in theory, relatively close to humanity, it also happens to be a terrible poison for humans. Perhaps it reflects man's cruelty against his own. So, dark fog is a sorcery version of the poison mist spell. I believe it does poison. I don't know if the sort of tick rate is more potent than poison mist. I don't really use it, so I wouldn't know. But I know effectively that's what it is. A lot of people use it as kind of like a smokescreen because the fog it leaves is quite literally pitch black. Can't see through it at all. Now, as you can hear by all of the unhinged cackling and shuffling, there's a lot of bloatheads up here. And right here in front of me, another illusory wall that requires a light source to open. I believe that is the last one. But right here, a red titanite chunk. Not really worth it, but it's there. Free souls, I guess. That's what... like an extra 1,500, I think, for that? Whoop. Here, you right now. I believe there's another one, yeah, back here. Then if we go down this ladder... what did you drop? Did you drop your gnarly head? Nope, green titanite shard. I find it a bit weird that these guys drop large and green titanite when by the time you get here, you should have already maxed out the weapons for that tier, or at least that tier of upgrades. Okay, so that's the way out. I don't want to go there yet. Mimic pancakes, anyone? The crest key. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that is the final mimic in the game. There shouldn't be any more now. Let's see. Pillbox Fury Sword. Let's take a look at that key. Bent Crest Key. The grooves of the crest are enchanted, the door sealed with a powerful spell. So that doesn't exactly tell you where we're supposed to use that. Had we explored a little bit more around the area where we fought Artorias, we would have found a side path that would have eventually have led to a locked door. I'll show you where that is when we get back, because I'm not going to be going much further than this. But first things first, I do want to head up this way. A lot of people don't know this is here, Twin Humanities. If you find yourself Gravelorded here, by the way, Gravelords will occasionally hide up here, because this is an area that a lot of people tend to miss. And that should be that. Okay. So, if we continue forward from here, let me go ahead and open up this shortcut. Yeah, I think this will be a good place to stop. So let's go ahead and use the crest key while we still have a little bit of time. But as you can see, it takes us up here. It's a nice shortcut back. So let's head up and use the crest key. Around here, Soul of a Hero. I'm pretty sure that drop is lethal, so don't. Just don't. You can see a good view of the Royal Woods from here. You can hear some kind of noise, but this is the door that requires the crest key. And we meet a giant.
A visitor, have we? Thou must be the one who freed Artorias. An old friend he was. Thanks to thee, he left this world with honor intact. And here I am, retired and blind. Of little help to thee, I'm afraid.
You say that, but who are you?
If thou seeketh to explore this domain, be wary of a black dragon.
We ran into him.
I fear thee no match for this terrible beast.
Oh, gee, thanks for the vote of confidence.
There's very little to be said. What good is a dog with no hares to hunt? But I'm lucky to be alive, I suppose.
This is Hawkeye Goff, one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn and the holder of the Hawk Ring. He acts as a merchant. He can sell you dung pies, which are heavily implied to be his own, because he's been trapped up here. He will sell you the thank you and hello carvings and some other basic stuff. You can get some low to mid-tier upgrade materials, and you can also buy Goff's great arrows. If you have a Dragon Slayer great bow, you can use those with it. But in general, he doesn't really have much to offer us right now. Okay, yeah, nothing else. So, yeah, we're good. This guy's a real bro. Like, he's probably the most helpful NPC in the entire DLC. So, a good way to mark yourself as an asshole is to kill him.
Farewell, human. Lead thy life as thou seest fit.
You do too, Goff. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed, but when we were climbing up the staircase, there was somebody in Artorias' boss arena. Good day.
You. Is that not the soul of the man who fell on this spot? He was a dear friend. I wish to pay proper respect with that soul. Would you be willing to part with it?
While I can understand your intentions, I unfortunately cannot. I fought harder than you can imagine to obtain this thing.
Yes, of course. I must not be presumptuous. Artorias would not have approved.
So if you give her the soul of Artorias, you will permanently lose the soul, and she will trade you a pair of weapons in return. This is Lord's Blade Kieran, I believe is how her name's pronounced. It's pronounced really weird. We actually have not really heard much about her. She is another one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn, and she's the only Knight of Gwyn that we don't have a ring for, or we haven't seen a ring for yet. That's going to be in the next area we'll be going to after this. Not within the DLC, but after the DLC's done. But she is one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn, and if you give her Artorias' soul, she will give you her weapons. However, instead of permanently losing the soul, she really doesn't serve any purpose otherwise, so,
You humans, always taking what you please. Then I shall do the same.
If you kill her, she will also drop the weapons, which are the 2 weapons she's wielding right there. Ooh. Be very careful, she is a rogue-style character, so she will attempt to backstab you if you let her. She also tosses Lloyd's talismans to block your Estus healing. Oh, oh, oh! Ooh, she tried. Be very careful of the Dark Silver Tracer in her offhand. That stab she attempted to do there will infect you with toxic.
But how? You humans, my dear Artorias.
You didn't see a caption for that last bit, but she said, "My dear Artorias." You were more than just a friend, weren't you? We get the Dark Silver Tracer, the Gold Tracer, and we get the Lord's Blade set, which is her outfit. You don't get her outfit if you give her the soul. So you're really just better off just killing her, because she doesn't really do anything else otherwise. However, that doesn't mean we can't pay our respects to Artorias. He gave us a really fun fight. What's up, Venge? So let's look at those weapons of hers. Curved sword used by the Lord's Blade Kieran, one of the Lord Gwyn's 4 knights. Kieran brandishes her sword in a mesmerizing dance, etching the darkness with dire streaks of gold. So the Gold Tracer is a curved sword, one of the best curved swords in the game. It's got a really good bleed effect. It's got A scaling with dex. Unfortunately, our dexterity is just a bit too low to use it. The range isn't that good, though, so I prefer not using it. The Dark Silver Tracer, though, a dagger. A dark silver dagger used by Lord's Blade Kieran of Gwyn's 4 knights. The victim is first distracted by dazzling streaks of the Gold Tracer, then stung by the vicious poison of this dagger. Which, it doesn't say it has a poison auxiliary effect, but it does inflict toxic with the offhand large attack. So, in New Game Plus, that has some applications. But, mainly it's more of a support weapon than anything else. Do note, however, if you are playing a rogue-style build very heavily focused on parries, I do believe the Dark Silver Tracer has the best critical modifier of any dagger. I can find it. What did I do with the thing? There it is. Yeah, it's got a 160 crit modifier. That is huge. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode for now. We're about halfway through Oolacile, I'd say. There's still some side content we need to do here, but we got in 2 boss fights, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. Off-screen, I'll probably be running around New Londo picking up Titanite chunks to upgrade my stuff. So I will see y'all next time. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all had a happy holidays. Good night, everybody, and sleep well.